Patients starting hormone replacement or IVF protocols frequently present their clinicians with the same complaint. They initiate progesterone, step on the scale a week later, and see a sudden spike in their weight. The immediate instinct is to blame the hormone itself. That clinical assumption contradicts decades of physiological literature. In human endocrinology, bioidentical progesterone is documented as a natural diuretic and a systemic insulin sensitizer. The number on the scale is real, but to understand it, we have to distinguish between two distinct physiological processes: rapid, short-term water retention, and long-term metabolic fat storage. This video examines why weight gain during treatment is rarely a direct side effect. Instead, look toward dosing protocols, the ratio of estrogen to progesterone, and specific chemical formulations being used. Treating the symptom by blindly discontinuing progesterone removes the exact compound capable of resolving the patient's underlying hormonal dysfunction. To evaluate the literature on hormone-induced weight gain accurately, we have to establish a strict pharmacological boundary. Synthetic progestins, such as medroxyprogesterone acetate or levonorgestrel, are chemically engineered compounds. They are designed in a lab to mimic a narrow band of progesterone's effects, primarily for contraception or cycle control. Because their chemical structure is modified, synthetic progestins have a different binding affinity. Clinical data verifies that these specific synthetic compounds readily cause fluid retention and off-target metabolic side effects. Bioidentical progesterone is the exact molecular match to what the human body produces. Its unaltered structure allows it to bind specifically to its native receptors without triggering the negative cascading effects seen with synthetic variants. For decades, medical literature has conflated these two distinct compounds under the vague umbrella term progestogens, assigning the documented weight gain of synthetics to the entire hormone class. Any clinical evaluation of a patient's weight must first audit the prescription pad. If the chemical formulation is synthetic, the side effect profile belongs to the drug, not to natural progesterone. With the pharmacological boundary set, we can look at the primary mechanism of rapid fluid fluctuation, the kidneys. In 1996, endocrinologist Werner Elkers mapped the precise interaction between sex hormones and the renin-aldosterone system. Aldosterone instructs your kidneys to retain sodium. Where sodium goes, water follows, causing cellular bloating. But bioidentical progesterone is a potent competitive antagonist. It binds to the exact same kidney receptor sites, physically blocking the aldosterone and preventing the retention signal. The clinical result is natriuresis, the rapid excretion of sodium and excess water. Physiologically, natural progesterone acts as a targeted diuretic. The mechanism fails in practice when practitioners write subtherapeutic, low-dose prescriptions. Hormone receptor binding is a game of numbers. Low doses of progesterone fail to reach the competitive concentration required to overpower aldosterone. The receptor remains occupied, and the diuretic escape mechanism never activates. Failing to cross that dose threshold leaves the patient exposed to the water-retaining properties of their own circulating estrogen, with no functional counterbalance. If a patient bloats on bioidentical progesterone, it is an indicator that the dose may be too low to engage the body's natural diuretic pathways. Water weight fluctuates rapidly. True adipose tissue accumulation requires a different metabolic environment entirely. Clinical trials clearly demonstrate that appropriate therapeutic doses of progesterone actually improve glucose homeostasis and significantly increase overall insulin sensitivity. Progesterone dictates how the body partitions incoming glucose. By sensitizing insulin receptors, it directs circulating blood sugar into muscle and liver cells for energy utilization, moving it away from lipid storage. Stabilizing the insulin response prevents the reactive blood sugar crashes that trigger pathological cravings for high-calorie, processed carbohydrates. In reality, true progesterone therapy provides reliable metabolic protection. If a patient is accumulating fat, that mass is being driven by an external caloric surplus, not the inherent metabolic profile of the hormone. If progesterone functions as a diuretic and improves insulin sensitivity, it leaves a glaring question. Why do so many women report intense cravings during the luteal phase of their cycle? The traditional clinical view theorized that rising progesterone levels after ovulation directly stimulated appetite centers in the brain. A 2016 clinical trial mapped food cravings across the menstrual cycle. When stratified by hormone profiles, the data showed women with the highest estradiol levels had massive spikes in cravings for carbohydrates. The progesterone line showed zero correlation with hunger. This trial updated the endocrinological model, pointing the finger away from progesterone and directly at the estradiol-leptin axis. Leptin is the body's primary satiety hormone, signaling the brain when we have eaten enough. Abnormally high estradiol levels dysregulate leptin production, short-circuiting that fullness signal and leaving the patient intensely hungry, regardless of actual caloric need. Estrogen, interacting with leptin, is the primary biological driver of the caloric surplus that results in luteal phase fat accumulation. The clinical state responsible for this specific leptin dysregulation is known as estrogen dominance. Estrogen dominance occurs when progesterone fails to rise sufficiently after ovulation, creating a state of relative estrogen excess. Without sufficient progesterone to act as a physiological brake, that relative estrogen excess dysregulates serotonin and dopamine pathways. This chemical imbalance triggers reward-seeking behaviors, manifesting as intense cravings for carbohydrates. That same estrogen dominance impairs baseline insulin sensitivity, causing the erratic blood sugar spikes and crashes that reinforce the craving cycle. Therapeutic progesterone dosing restores the required hormonal ratio. It supports neurotransmitter balance, stabilizes leptin signaling, and sensitizes the insulin response. The intense luteal phase hunger that patients report is not caused by the presence of progesterone. It is often a defining clinical symptom of a progesterone deficiency relative to estrogen. When a patient presents with weight gain after initiating hormone therapy, practitioners can use this data to trace the symptom to its source. If the patient presents with sudden fluid retention, the immediate step is an audit of the dosage. Verify if the prescribed dose of bioidentical progesterone is high enough to block aldosterone. If it is not, the patient remains vulnerable to estrogen-induced bloat. If the presentation is true adipose gain, the focus shifts to caloric intake and the estradiol-leptin axis. Test the patient's estrogen to progesterone ratio. An unbalanced ratio indicates estrogen dominance is driving pathological cravings, requiring appropriate progesterone levels to restore satiety signals. Finally, verify the chemical formulation. If the patient is taking a synthetic progestin, the metabolic and fluid side effects are inherent to the drug's design. Transition to a bioidentical match. Systematic evaluation of these pathways replaces the flawed assumption that progesterone inevitably causes weight gain with exact, actionable protocols. The dose-dependent data provides clear operational boundaries. At therapeutic levels, bioidentical progesterone is a vital tool for metabolic health. It helps manage excess fluid by blocking aldosterone and protects baseline metabolism by promoting efficient glucose utilization. Pulling a patient off therapy because of misunderstood fluid dynamics or unmanaged estrogen cravings effectively leaves them trapped in a state of estrogen dominance. By utilizing precise therapeutic dosing, practitioners can address the physiological drivers of the hormonal symptom, securing better long-term outcomes for women's metabolic health.